Oh, excellent.
Master
timing.
Chief is hiding my cough drops.
Okay.
My cough drops.
We
All right. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the still Untitled Podcast. This is our third episode, and this is going to be by far the best episode. You have no idea. We're about to blow this out of the water. Joined again, to my right, is the one and only Macho Man, Zack Dickerson.
Oh, yeah!
So
There you go.
good. John Henry, David, Dwayne Allen, and the, of course, unofficial Baldwin, but the best Baldwin brother, Trevor Baldwin.
Hey, guys.
And just me, Justin Bright.
He's the brightest of our
That's why I
group.
did the...
Remember when I hosted a podcast and they didn't talk over me?
Yeah.
Trevor
I know the
just
feeling.
did.
Anyway, the whole point to our podcast is sit around, hanging out, talk about this and that, whatnot, in Western Kentucky where nobody else does it. Well, I'm sure they do, but we just do it better.
Right. We just have a good time.
Anyway,
Gotta get those jabs in.
the whole point of our show is sit around, talk, and that's why before we start, I'm going to throw a little audible in here. These guys have no idea I'm about to throw this out here.
Let's hear it.
We're going to talk about the biggest gaming news this week. This is just a little 5-minute segment.
Okay.
The amazing released trailer of Persona 5.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's
That's a good
thoughts.
One. A good one to talk about. Yeah.
I know this guy thought it looked good. And I know this guy really thought it
Yeah.
looked good. But the one's opinion I really want to know about is this guy. Because I know he wants to like Persona, but I don't think he likes it as much as everybody else. And it's okay. Just be honest.
I mean, I do. I never got a chance to finish it because Trevor was begging for it back, and then he never beat it.
No, what do you think of the Persona 5
It
trailer?
looked good.
I think it
It
looked
did
great.
look beautiful.
It looked like it's going to be like a heist. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's like a bunch of heist themes.
Yeah, and
That
I
is
mean,
awesome.
I mean, it looks fantastic.
It's gonna be good. I'll buy it myself. I just got the
Your
beta.
mom's not gonna buy it for you.
No.
My granny might get my copy.
Yeah, Trevor's granny might buy his copy.
Shout out to Granny.
Shout out to Granny, love you.
But yeah, it looked good.
I think
I
it
can't
looked
wait.
great. I mean, it really looks like they're taking, and I never played it, but they're taking a whole different approach to it, which is not a bad thing. It sounds like there's somebody sneaking in our house right
I
now.
was also thinking that as well. It sounds like someone's in here.
But anyway, the whole, like I said, back on point. The whole focus of our show is to talk about different topics. All four of us bring one to the table. We're still untitled, and
Still Untitled.
we're
3
just
shows
trying-
in, everybody.
Yeah, there's no when we find out the name of the show, it will be a big deal. We will release like this big grand fair of a video, but
Like of us shooting fireworks and us standing like superheroes and like the fireworks go up and the name comes out of the fireworks.
yeah, except that's kind of beyond our budget.
I'm not that good in After Effects just yet, John.
Almost.
Let's just do it simple. We'll just have the name popping a bunch of times and flashing different colors.
But if you don't know who we are, we're Sadistic Pixel. We've been running a website for about 6 or 7 months now.
September.
We've
So
just
whatever that is.
we've just really
September's a month.
we've just really been kicking it up in our videos thanks to these guys. I mean, they're doing a great job. And
And
Our
Justin,
articles-
always writing the best articles on the universe.
no,
On the
On the
universe.
universe.
on the universe. That's our first T-shirt.
Yeah.
Trevor says on the
On the
universe.
universe.
It's just a
But-
picture of your face.
But like we're having so much fun doing this.
Oh,
Like
couldn't ask for a
we're
better
trying to
time.
attack YouTube head on because it's what we love doing, and this is it. This is what I want to be doing my whole life, is sitting around
This is
talking
it.
about video game stuff
This
because it
is
is
us.
such a future. I don't know,
It's an
occupation.
open- it's
I mean,
it's a future worth exploring.
absolutely. And so today, I also want to give a shout out to our other 2 members of Statistic Pixel, Kevin Moore, Benjamin Logan. Shout out to you guys. Sorry you can't be here, but we're going to get your topics on the show, and that's why I'm going to segue into John Allen, whose first topic is brought to you by...
Kevin Moore.
Yeah. What's
And,
your topic?
Kevin wanted us to talk about what do we think about annualized games like Call of Duty, Madden, like the sports games and the shooter games, pretty much.
I have quite an opinion on this one.
Is everybody wanting me to go first?
Would Assassin's Creed be considered?
Yes,
an
absolutely.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
That one's going to be...
it's a big one.
I'm going to hit the hammer on that one
Yeah.
in a minute. Do you just want me to go? Because I'm going to
Man.
have the longest rant here. Or do you want to go?
Trevor's
All right,
like Trevor's about to
yeah, you're right.
explode.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Well, annualized games to me, most of them I view as total pieces of crap. Now, I'm not going to say that all annualized games are bad,
Trevor's a
but
savage.
because I used to love Assassin's Creed up until Assassin's Creed 3 came out, and it was one of the worst games I've played in a long time. The character was terrible, the story was terrible. The only thing I liked about that game was being in America. I liked the Revolutionary War.
True patriotism right there.
The only thing good about that game is I was in America.
American.
I was in my home country. But no, that game was just awful. I didn't enjoy it one bit.
Yeah.
I did beat it, and the ending was terrible. And right then, I started to realize that they're not putting any more effort into these games, or that they're tacking stuff on that doesn't need to be there, like the whole Desmond side of everything. Like, just give me some history and some assassins.
Absolutely.
I don't need a machine to show me my memories. I don't need that. As for sports games, I don't play them. Don't have a problem with them. I'm sure they're fun. I mean, I know a lot of people do. They're not hurting without my money.
See, when I get to me in a minute, I have a solution for the sports thing, but
Okay.
I want you to finish first.
But yeah, I mean, like you say, I'm just not a big sports, watcher, player. So I never really got into those games.
Go Pack, go.
What? Call of Duty. Oh Lord.
Okay. All right. For all you 14, 15-year-old guys out there, or even 22-year-old guys that love Call of Duty, chill out for a minute, because Trevor's about to go off. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
No chill.
This is also, I got to tell someone else to chill down. Chris, if you're watching this, our buddy Chris, he may go off on me whenever next time I see him.
No, he won't watch our video, so he'll
No,
have no idea.
he really does, actually.
Yeah, he found out about Granny.
Yeah, he asked me about Granny the other day.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, so Call of Duty. I used to play them. The first one I ever got was Call of Duty 3. It was the first game I had on my PlayStation 3. I opened up Christmas Day, what was it, 2007?
Yeah,
when the
no, 6.
2006, when the PS3 came out that November. I got one for Christmas, and the first gift my dad told me to open these up in a certain order. And the first one I opened was Call of Duty 3. And I was like, uh-oh. And I looked at the next box, and my dad said it was an electric blanket, and I was like, that's a PS3. So anyway, I got a PS3, played the crap out of Call of Duty 3, loved it, and Modern Warfare?
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out, and I played Modern Warfare 2, loved them. Was it Black Ops that was next?
Yeah.
Okay,
Black
Black
Ops
Ops is where they lost me. I knew they were
Absolutely agree.
annualized games before then, but whenever the Black Ops came out, I just lost it completely with Call of Duty. And now it seems like they release a new glorified piece of crap every year. And, I mean, I'm sure they make their money. I heard Advanced Warfare is not bad. I'll never play it. But,
Did you see they pretty much announced, what was it?
Call of
Lord
Duty's
of War.
Call of Duty's gonna be
Oh,
like
yeah,
visualized or something like that.
they have a cycle. There's 3 developers, isn't there?
There's Treyarch,
Treyarch is
Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer
Yeah,
Games.
and
which is their
they
newest
go
one.
in a 3-year cycle. So I guess technically it's not necessarily like
but still,
it's annualized.
Yeah.
But I guess it is a different developer each
Well,
year.
It's just like Assassin's Creed, who's got. I mean, Ubisoft. How many companies does Ubisoft own?
Too many to
I know.
count.
It's just, and the problem with having everything so spread out like that is they're just, you can't get the core group together to make the same game every year.
Yeah.
To me, that's why I enjoyed Black Flag. But you know what? Before I start interrupting, I need to let Trevor finish. I'm sorry, Trevor.
I'm
Go
almost
ahead.
done. Just one more thing.
No,
to say.
you say all you want to.
Call of Duty also has, to me, the worst online community out of any game, I believe. Now, there may be worse ones, I don't know. But from what I have played,
I ran into some bad communities.
yeah, from what I have played,
See,
Call of
that's
Duty
cool.
has some of the worst community. I hear little kids tell me they slept with my mom, and
Maybe they did.
Maybe they did. I don't know, but no, I just can't stand Call of Duty.
I
I'll never
understand.
play another one.
Yeah.
Not judging anybody that does. Maybe I am.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
Throw that
judging
out.
people.
Look at that judging.
you have every right to be opinionated on it, and I feel the same way because maybe to a little more harsher extent because and I'm gonna be very very what's the word, like
Critical?
critical, but at the same time where like I make a point, but at the same time, I cancel my point at the same time. What's that word called? Anyway.
Oh, I know what you're trying to say, but I can't.
I don't know.
I know. I am the only. I'm not gonna say only. I'm the only one in here who really does play Xbox a lot, and that's mostly because of Halo. And Microsoft has annualized that franchise. I know there hasn't been a main Halo game since Halo 4, but they've still released Halo. What was it? Spartan.
Yeah.
Assault.
Wars or something like that.
Spartan
Yeah,
Assault.
yeah.
Top-down shooter, which top-down shooters are just the worst.
Yeah.
But and then this year they did Master Chief Collection, which was a great idea, but they just and I know everybody who loves Halo, they outsourced it to a lot of different companies, and maybe that's why. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed about Halo 5 because the beta was fun when they did it right. So I can't be totally against it because I do still buy Halo, but my love for Halo is not the same like it used to be since Bungie left it.
Right.
But this harkens back to Assassin's Creed. I used to love Assassin's Creed. Do you guys not remember how great, how big of a leap it was between Assassin's Creed 1 and 2?
Yeah.
It was insane. It was
absolutely.
It was 2 years. And Assassin's Creed 2 was really good. And then after that, you got Brotherhood, which was a good game, and Revelations, which I know you like Revelations.
Revelations was actually my favorite.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not that crazy about it. And then Assassin's Creed 3 is when I was like, do they really need to be releasing these games every year? And then Black Flag was good, but and then all the crap with Unity and releasing Rogue, and then they've already announced Victory, and but they do it because they sell well. I mean, they're not going to stop doing it. People complain about it, but they're not going to stop selling that stuff if people keep buying it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the same thing with microtransactions and season passes and exclusive DLC. People complain about it, but people are still going to, if they're paying for it, you can't blame them for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes into a whole other argument too. Like, if you can make an annualized game, and it's a good game, it's done right, then absolutely go for it. But I don't think a game can be made that quickly. Because they're pushing out
can't be made well.
Yeah, exactly. They pushed out Unity with how many glitches and bugs.
Man,
they don't even worry about that anymore.
Broken.
Like that. It's like they got to get it done by November.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. That's a whole different topic.
Right. Yeah. That was branching off.
It's fine. It's about them announcing games way too early than they should.
Pre-orders.
Yeah,
too.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, it makes me almost sound like condescending because I love Halo and
contradictory and whatnot.
Contradicting. There you go. Thank you, Zack. That word was just stuck on the side of my head.
Yes, contradiction. Okay.
Because I'm sure this year's E3, which will easily be on Halo 5 because that is Microsoft's biggest game this year. But it wouldn't surprise me if they tease the Halo game that comes out next year. I mean, they're calling their new internet is Project Spartan. I mean, they're
a lot of Halo focus.
Their Suri wannabe is Cortana, and I don't know. And Call of Duty, I could go into such a rant, like a 40-hour rant about Call of Duty and how I think it's overrated. But I think a lot of first-person shooters are overrated. But I don't want to make everybody mad because I know people love those games and everyone has a right to love whatever they want. But I don't like annualized games, and I wish more companies would be like people like Rockstar North who disappear for 4 or 5 years, and make a GTA game, and it sells great.
Some people disappear for too long though, like Bethesda.
Well, see, that's what. I was going to say.
But they're doing it smartly though.
Yeah, they are.
That's why Bethesda gets so much. That's why they're still around, because they do games every 4 years or something like that. You don't know when they're going to come out with another game, and when it is, it's a really special game.
It is. They really are special.
Fallout 4.
We all want it, please.
It's going to get mentioned at least once every show.
and
how bad we want Fallout 4.
Until it gets announced, it'll be announced.
That's what I'm hoping E3, there's something at E3 that they're just like, oh, hey, here's this. And people in what's that armor called? The power suit armor?
Yeah.
People in power suit armor come out and man.
Some old 50s tune is playing.
Yeah.
It's Boston. You see the Paul Revere statue broken
with
in
a
half.
Flag torn.
Yeah, it's the Brotherhood of Steel flag. My
Really
God.
awesome.
Why don't we just make a teaser and make everyone on the internet mad?
Like the Tunnel
Just
Snakes.
Yeah, the Tunnel Snakes one. Oh,
But
man.
that's
That was
what
great.
they need. Which, if you're not done, I'll throw it back to you. But what Bethesda does is perfect. And if they did a Call of Duty game like that and like worked on it for like a year or two, that'd be awesome.
They're going to have to eventually, because I know Call of Duty still sells 10 million copies a year, but it is plateauing.
Mm-hmm.
And
because Advanced Warfare didn't sell like as much as they usually does.
Yeah, but it's spread on so many consoles. What I was wanting to say when I was the sports solution, what I think they should do, and I think they should just release, almost treat like an MMO where you just release a Madden, and then like just update it. You know, you can pay for roster updates, you know, $5 to $10. Because I'm the type of person, if I buy sports games, I'll buy one every 3 to 4 years. Because there's no reason to buy one every year. Because especially last generation, sports games were not that good, especially the EA games. 2K kind of has stepped up above them and become the better sports brand.
2K15, the basketball game's awesome.
Yeah. And I, you know, I don't play a lot of sports games, but like I love what they're doing with the show, where they're finally letting you do a franchise.
Yeah.
And they're going to let you save it and continue your franchises through all the sports games, so you don't have to keep starting over each time. And I think that's brilliant. I think Madden should do that, but they just strip the game and make it like, it's like, hey, this game has so much in it, and the next year we're just going to strip it out because we have to get it out faster.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to you.
I forgot which one did it, but you know, they used to have the create a player, my career thing where you go.
Yeah, it was EA's NCAA football.
Yeah. Well, they did it in the Madden too, but one year they took it out and like that game sold like crap. Like once people took it back.
Yeah.
And so now they're putting it back in there, but the thing is they don't add anything new every year. They enhance the graphics, which some of them look better, but I mean, basically you're just you're just adding different shades and stuff to new teams, and you know.
I remember playing NCAA football 2005 on the original Xbox, and like they actually had detailed crowds, and now when you play football games, the crowds are like they're little paper cutouts, and they're doing this the whole time.
Yeah. Whenever somebody scores a touchdown, the whole thing's like.
And then when you're blowing out the other team, like they just kind of start disappearing.
Yeah,
But anyway.
But if they took their time with games, like Trevor said, instead of let's take this out and let's push it out. Here it comes. Here's all the glitches, and you have to deal with all this crap. They would make it a whole lot better if they took time, like Rockstar and Bethesda and Naughty Dog.
Exactly. And like day one patches should not even have to exist. And those games are full. Like that's like the first thing you hear is like whenever what was it? Was it Halo that had like a huge day one patch? Yeah,
and it caused a lot of people, especially if you didn't preload it.
Yeah.
It caused a lot of people to not be able to play it because it was like a 20 gigabyte day one patch.
And you know, and even this isn't really about a game itself, but like, didn't the Wii U have like a huge firmware update right when it came out? I believe it was like 5 gigabytes, like that you had. Well, I mean, I don't guess you have to install it, but I
feel like it did.
I'm pretty sure it did, and like you know, like that. Oh, why can't you just put? I don't know. I just feel like things like that should. Like just take your time is all I'm saying.
It's almost like there's a disconnect between like some developers and their fans.
Yes.
Like it's like it almost when they annualize stuff, it's almost like they're sending the wrong message that like, hey, we don't really care what you think, we just want the money.
Exactly.
And I know that some of the developers they work their butts off on those games. Some of them do, and you know, but it's the publishers that have to have those games out year after year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I keep interrupting everybody, so everyone else's opinion should.
I'm done. It's up to you.
Oh, okay.
Save us, Zach.
Please save us.
It's what I'm going to say is mostly basically just a lot of rehashing what everyone else has said.
Yeah.
Like up to Assassin's Creed 3, I started not liking it anymore. I played a little bit of Black Flag, didn't play a lot of it. I just wasn't enjoying myself with it.
That was me too. I didn't enjoy myself with that one.
I like playing sport games, but I don't buy them. Like the only sport game that I really loved playing was the Street series, like NFL Street. I wish they would bring that back. Give me like an NFL Street 4 for like the PS4.
Yeah.
I'd play the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And
Looney Tunes basketball, revive it, please.
That sounds amazing. That does sound amazing.
Actually, it may have been Tiny Toons basketball. Were you guys too young for Tiny Toon Adventures?
I remember Tiny Toon Adventures.
They had a good basketball game. I'm sorry, Zach. Go ahead.
I heard a little bit about it. I never played it though.
It's just my old man syndrome coming out. Margaret Marty, you want a Weathers? And I'm just
which they did another NBA Jam like kind of recently, in like past few years. But
I saw it and it's like a $20.
It didn't look that good.
No.
It was like they
It's like
redid the graphics and
they're like, we're gonna try and bring this back. No.
those games just aren't the same as they were back then though. Like NBA Jam and the streets and stuff, it just won't be the same as.
The problem is with those sports games, there's not competition. When there's no competition, they don't see the point in and raising the bar, and that's why I'm really hoping 2K gets into football. Like I hope they get the NCAA property and start making amazing football games where EA's like, we really need to step our game up.
Well, that's what if they bring back NCAA, they'll be making some big time money since EA dropped the.
The problem with that is just how NCAA is with all that stuff.
Which that's why they quit, because they're wanting to.
Because they don't
start paying the athletes, but that's different. Go ahead, Zack.
In the Call of Duty series, it's another can of worms right there. Yeah,
I know.
And
okay, before everyone starts bashing us, we all of us used to play Call of Duty.
Modern Warfare 2 was my game.
I mean, I agree. That was the last big one I played. I just want to get that out there. We're just. We're all not just hating on Call of Duty because we know people love those games.
Well, when you say annualized games, what's the first one that comes to your mind? It's always
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty and Battlefield.
There's no way anybody will argue.
He's got problems with Battlefield.
Yeah.
And with Call of Duty, I loved Modern Warfare, the first one. I loved the second one.
Yeah.
Black Ops, I mean, it was all right. You know, I played the multiplayer. I had fun with it. I'd always play with like Richard.
Yeah,
some other people, some other friends. I played it.
Who is that other friend?
Oh, wasn't you? And
not me.
And
Thanks,
never played Black Ops 2. I just consider it as basically the same thing, but with a few extra things. And when you get a Call of Duty game, you don't play for the story.
No,
you play for the multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly.
How bad the community is. It's true. I ain't going to take back what I said. It's bad. And I played Advanced Warfare recently, and to be honest with that, that's the most recent Call of Duty I've actually had fun playing online-wise. I mean, I never played Titanfall, but I heard it's just compared to like a Titanfall with the whole jumping and everything, the jetpacks.
John just glanced at me like I would know what Titanfall is. I have not touched
Titanfall. I honestly feel bad for Titanfall. I'm sorry to jump off.
Oh, it's fine.
But I was talking to Zach Davis the other day, and he said that the servers for Titanfall on the Xbox, there's like, I believe it's less than 10,000 people playing right now. I mean, what happened
when it first came out? It was
That's Halo 4 was the same way. It's just you can't. Call of Duty has this way of keeping, like I'm just gonna say Activision, because Destiny. It's weird because Destiny's install base, Destiny's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
has actually grown. But I mean, Activision knows what they're doing. I mean, as much as I hate it, they're like, hey, we're making money, you know.
Yeah.
But Advanced Warfare, I actually enjoyed playing it as a first-person multiplayer game on the console. Because, like with the Battlefield games, Battlefield 2 Bad Company was probably my favorite. It was the most fun I've had with a Battlefield game. And Battlefield 3 was pretty good, too.
Online was awesome.
Yeah, Battlefield 3 online was so fun. And Battlefield 4 just can't live up to that.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to play Battlefield 4, and the servers are just so bad.
The reason is because they added that 60-person... the 60-person room, which was so laggy, you couldn't do nothing.
Yeah. Well,
we got into one, and we get, like... I'm not good at that game. I'm not very good at that game at all. So I would just, like, try to snipe people, and, like, somebody would be running, and they'd, like, stop, and then, like, I'd, like, try to take the shot, and then they'd be, like, over there. Or somebody would, like, walk up, and you'd hear something explode, and then you turn around, and they'd just be, like, right behind you, and knife you, and then, like, glitch off.
Battlefield was another thing for me. Whenever Battlefield 4 came out and y'all got it, like, I watched y'all play it, and as somebody on the outside of those games, I saw no difference in Battlefield 3 and 4.
Yeah,
the graphics looked the same.
There isn't a difference.
It literally looked like the exact same game to me.
But this is back to Battlefield, and I know you have the hardline beta out right now, right? Mm-hmm. But is Battlefield, didn't they finally just say, all right, we're not going to annualize this, we're going to pump the brakes? Because there wasn't a Battlefield game last year, was there?
No.
I think they announced Hardline.
They announced
Hardline. Okay. I was just making sure. I don't want to be wrong.
They just want to, which is good, they want to take their time with it. So.
Well, I think Hardline is what they're trying to change it up.
It is EA DICE that, like, makes those games, right? Is it DICE? Well, I think they're also working on the Star Wars Battlefront series. Yeah. I tell you what, if they can get online multiplayer right, where you're like, and I know you're not a Star Wars fan. This is just for all you Star Wars guys out there. Imagine Empire Strikes Back, the beginning of that, where they're fighting in the snow. You got one team driving the AT-ATs, the giant robots, and someone else in the snow speeders fighting those, and then all these ground forces fighting each other.
I would play that. It doesn't matter.
awesome.
They did that on the PSP with Battlefront 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
That was like, I remember getting in the
fun.
AT-AT trying to like shoot people, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I actually driving this thing, or is it just walking?
I mean, they could pull it off. It's just so. In general, we all pretty much agree that annualized gaming. We prefer games like Rockstar and Naughty Dog.
Take your time with
Yeah,
Atlas.
Atlas.
We were just talking about Persona 5. Because I don't think Persona 5 is gonna come out this year. I hope it does.
I was so disappointed when they didn't have a release date in the trailer.
I feel like we're gonna get to the point where the only big fall, which is fine for me. I know not for Trevor. The only big fall release this year is gonna be Metal Gear and Halo, because I want Uncharted so bad this year. Naughty Dog, they're perfectionists, and I know they say they don't care about getting in 60 frames, but you know how
they're going to.
They're going to. And I imagine that game will probably come out June of 2016.
Yeah.
Which, the only thing I've heard release date wise, that this is just plain speculation and rumors. Before they showed the trailer, there was a lot of emphasis on the number 5 with everything. So a lot of people
think May.
Yeah, May 5th, and it's on a Tuesday. Which games releases on Tuesdays and Fridays.
It's 3 months.
Yeah, it's a hope. It's like one of those hopes
I know.
and everything, but
I think companies should sit on games more though, and then just announce them 2 or 3 months ahead of time. But we'll see.
Which apparently I've heard they've worked on Persona 5 for a long time, but
they've had since the
don't
PS2.
know.
I mean, that was when Persona 4 came out. Was the PS2? They skipped a whole generation. So yeah, I'm sure they have.
Yeah. So, thank you, Kevin.
Yes,
for that
thank you, Kevin.
Awesome
That
topic
was
for
great
getting our juices flowing right there.
That was a good topic to start off with.
So now we're gonna move on to Zack, and he's gonna give us his topic.
My topic is, what game has surprised you, good and bad, or good or bad, and why?
Can I go first? Now this is gonna be such a what's that word, Zack?
Contradictory.
Yeah, exactly. I loved Assassin's Creed Unity
Yeah.
a lot, and maybe it's because I played it after they had already dealt out at least 20 patches for it. I heard nothing but bad things about that game, and I thought cinematically it was awesome. Yeah, there were glitches, but I thought it was extremely fun, and I don't know, this maybe because I'm a history buff, not as much as I should be, but just the whole French Revolution. John would love it. Yeah. I mean, I thought Arno was a good protagonist. He's like a second-rate Ezio. I mean, he's I don't know, they're almost like the same, but they're not. Ezio is just so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, we all in here love Ezio. I mean, is it safe to say he's the best Assassin's Creed protagonist by far?
Absolutely.
I still like Altair.
Do you?
Altair was
Mr.
one of my
No
favorites.
Personality?
Altair was one of my favorite assassins.
All right.
Ezio is a good assassin.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Altair better.
I think it's just because they spent so much time on Ezio that I know more about him.
You're right.
Than anybody else.
Compared to just the jump and everything, Ezio was greatly made.
Yeah, and I love Italian culture too. So that was a good.
We all do, and just the whole story focuses on a very Romeo and Juliet with the Templars and the assassins story there that underlines it, and I feel like the problem is people and every right, because that game was not finished when it first came out. I've seen some screenshots, some scary looking NPCs in that game that are just whoa.
No faces.
No faces.
Just a mouth and eyes.
I mean, that would be one of those. Maybe it's because I went into it with no expectations. Because you know how it is with expectations.
Yeah.
And I guess on the more recent side, of being disappointed, I love the Master Chief Collection. These guys know here I take time off from work.
A week. A week off work
just to play Halo, and it's fun, but at the same time, I love the Halo campaigns, and Trevor and I'm actually about to show Trevor how to do all the Halo campaigns because his hands might burn when he touches an Xbox controller.
We'll see.
But the campaigns were fun. I played it with Ben of SadisticPixel.com.
Hi, Ben.
And
shameless plug.
We had a lot of fun. I mean, there was one level we played where we'd be going, and it's like our games would not sync. So he would still be there, but he'd just be like driving into the wall. And then like I would still be by myself.
Ben, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then in his game, I was driving into the wall, and he was going by
Oh,
himself.
wow.
Or
That's
something
awesome.
like that. Or we'd just get kicked out, or I went through the first, like, the whole first Halo campaign on Lasso, which is like on Legendary with all the skulls on, and I didn't get the achievement, and I know, first world problems, right? And I sat there for 8 hours doing that, and I was just like, all right, I'm getting a little frustrated. And then after I got done doing all the campaigns, I tried to do the multiplayer with my friends, and it's just, you sit there in those lobbies for 10 minutes sometimes, and it's so hard to find a game. And then sometimes you get into a game and your friend will get kicked out, and I don't know, it's hard on me because I'm such a diehard Halo fan. I mean, if you love just Halo campaign, it's fine, but like, you know, after that campaign you start getting tired of it, you want to go to the multiplayer, and it just I don't know, it was a little bit disappointing, and I've kind of just stopped playing it because I got so many things to play, like Grim Fandango, Resident Evil. These guys are pressuring me into getting Dying Light because I really want to play it. Got the Order, all those things coming out. So I mean, that's really my biggest, my surprise and my disappointment. So
well, for me, it was The Last of Us. I didn't think that game looked good at all.
It disappointed you?
No, it was a good surprise.
I'm just kidding.
It was a good surprise. I mean, like, I was not excited about it at all. It didn't look that great to me. I was like, oh, another zombie game, you know.
But it ain't a
and
zombie
then
game.
I remember it was a Friday. I believe it was a Friday anyway, that they released this trailer for it, and I was like, man, this game looks actually pretty cool. I may check this out.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me, I was like, I'm just not excited for it.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, it didn't look that great to me. I did not care.
I feel so bad because I couldn't shut up about that
I-
game for so long.
we would all be talking about it, and Trevor's like, I just don't like it. I don't think it's going to be good. And like,
that looks pretty good. I'm just sitting there like,
And yeah, I rented it whenever it came out, and I just like, whoa! I played it nonstop, and I had to return it. I borrowed your copy to actually finish the game.
I gotta get it, gotta finish it, man.
But yeah, no, I mean that was it
kill them
surprised
clickers.
me with some of the best story I've ever played. I mean, probably one of the best
Naughty
games
Dog
I've ever
does it
played.
again, basically.
And I'm finally playing it again on my PS4 right now, and I love that 60 frames per second.
It's like you can just do it again.
I know, and it's like I remember what's gonna happen, but it's still just as tense as before, and I love it. I love the game.
It's because it's the greatest game ever made.
They know how to write a story. I mean, that's
I know.
what it comes down to.
I'm
Is
hoping
they know how to write a story.
I'm hoping they bring that replay value to Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
Yeah, I agree with that because like I love Uncharted, but I don't think they have as much replay value as The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But anyway, go back.
Right, no, that's fine. But yeah, and don't get me wrong, The Last of Us had its moments where it, made me want to throw my controller, and but it's a great game, and I was completely surprised, and it was great. I'm so glad that I bought it. But
Well, did you have any disappointments or anything?
the biggest disappointment of a game I'd ever. Let's see.
of gaming ever.
Of gaming ever. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, this is the only game I can think of, and I don't know what I was thinking going into it, was this old Marvel game that I bought for my PS3. It was
Marvel Nemesis.
no, it was a top-down Marvel game, I believe.
I
You know what I'm
it
talking
is. I know
about?
the
What's
game
it?
you're talking
What is that
about.
game called?
I don't know. You said top down. It's
Yeah.
automatically bad.
It's
You-
basically, it almost plays like an MMO in a sense. Like
Was
you
it-
choose a team of Marvel
Yeah, you had
heroes
four
or enemies.
Marvel characters. Was it? It wasn't Ultimate Alliance,
Like-
was it? Was
I think it was Ultimate Alliance.
I
yeah.
believe it was.
Marvel. Yeah, because you had that. I remember you had.
Yeah,
Marvel
I bought
Ultimate
it.
Alliance.
And this is just off the top of my head, I'm sure. And I thought it looked so cool, and I bought it and
Thanks,
returned
Chief.
it the next day. I should have rented it, but I didn't. I started playing it, and I was like, "Oh God, what is this crap?" And I returned it the next day. Luckily, GameStop was like, "Yeah, we'll let you just pick out a game for the same price or less." So of course,
Yeah.
I don't remember what I got with it. I believe I may have bought Resist. No, I don't know what I bought.
I want to say you had Resistance before that.
Yeah, I got Resistance 2 from a Walmart. I remember that. I don't know what I bought with it whenever I returned it.
It was something good.
It was something good, yeah.
It's probably Oblivion.
It could have been Fallout Game of the Year edition, but because that was still relatively new at that time.
Possible.
Because what Fallout come out? 2008?
Mm-hmm.
I believe this was in 2009 or 10 when it happened, so the Game of the Year edition was already out.
So you were still in high school?
Yeah, 2009 I was a sophomore. I remember that year. 2008, I remember when Fallout came out in October of 2008, my cousin bought it for me. Because that's when I got Resistance 2. I bought Fallout 3 and Resistance 2 the same day. Anyway, different stories. Sorry, but yes, that was my...
Don't be sorry. This is what we do. We go off on... We just basically started bashing Call of Duty 10 minutes ago.
Call of Duty.
That was kind of my fault for getting on.
Call of Duty's a piece of shit.
You knew when you said annual franchises, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was probably my biggest disappointment. Like I said, I don't know what I was thinking getting into it. I think my cousin Tyler, my younger cousin Tyler, I got two, convinced me to get it, and I was just like, man, this is just awful.
It's like, I don't like this. Tyler.
But anyway, yeah, that's mine.
My biggest disappointment, which Justin told me not to be excited about this, but I don't know why I was, but WWE 2K15.
Corey loved that game.
Oh
apparently.
my gosh, it was terrible.
He also liked Halloween 2 Rob Zombie's movie, so.
Sorry,
Corey, I love you so much.
That shows you a little bit about Corey.
But anyone who likes the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, I love you so much, Corey Downey.
But like, I don't. It was from my childhood when I had a GameCube. I had a
that WWE game you brought to my house a couple weeks ago.
And I love that game. I took it to Trevor's house and played on his.
Yeah, it's still at the house.
Awesome. And so this game is like, it's got all new controls. Everything's going to be a whole lot smoother, blah, 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 blah. And so I watched stuff on it. They had like all new pins and like, you know, you could button mash and like crawl, do the crawling pin. And everything's more realistic. First day it came out.
Realistic wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
realistic or wrestling, you got to pick one.
But I went and I rented it, thank God.
Yeah.
And I played, and within the first hour, I turned it off and took it back to Family Video because I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. Like, the CPU was like they turned it on expert when you're playing on normal.
Yeah.
And like, no matter what, I could not win a match because I'd be winning. And, like, they'd have, like, this much, like, stamina left or whatever before you could just pin them and they just automatically be down. They'd come back and kill me, pretty much. And the controls were awful. Like, there was nothing good about those controls.
It just harkens back to that whole annualized franchise thing. So
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is.
Wasn't there clipping issues, too? Like, your foot was going through the
ropes
and
like,
stuff
it was. One time, some guy slammed me, and, like, they try to do realistic where, like, your foot, if it lands on the rope, it's going to be sticking on the rope. Well, my foot went through the rope, and it was just, like, sticking straight out like this through the rope, and my guy was like...
Whenever you said clipping issues, I just kind of pictured, like, a wrestler, like, just falling through the ring and, like, half of his torso.
So come at me, come on, I got you.
But, like... Yeah, stuff like that. Like, I'd fall through, like, ring posts and stuff when I tried to climb them, and it was bad. And so I took it back.
I don't blame you.
Game that surprised me the most was Dying Light because it got those people weren't giving it very good reviews at all, and I got it, and I'm hooked. That's all I do now is play Dying Light.
I'm very interested to see the disconnect between the critics and the fan base because I don't hear anything but good things from fan people, and I hear some good, like, decent things from critics, but like it's not getting the ratings like I thought it would. I mean, I figured the way people talk about it should be in like, I mean, this is why you should never just solely base yourself on Metacritic. I figured it'd be in the upper 80s or something, but I mean, I really want to try it out just because you two talk about it so well.
It's so fun, like just it's so different too from any other zombie type game. Pardon me, my sinuses are going crazy. But it's so different from any other sort of zombie game because you can actually, instead of having to fight through them like constantly, you can get away by like climbing a building. Like, it's the transport, like you're running through like rooftops, and
Parkour is a big focus.
Yeah, parkour is so fun to be able to like pretty much Assassin's Creed up buildings, like climbing different things.
Okay, like Assassin's Creed up a building.
Well, that's what you have to call it now
funny.
because like anytime you climb something specific, like hey, I'm gonna grab onto this and then I'm gonna jump over here to this. I mean, that's pretty much like Assassin's Creed based.
Assassin's Creed.
So do you does that mean you start going up and then you automatically just accidentally turn around and jump off into
oh my gosh. Don't get me started on that.
I got a lot of stories on that one.
Like, I'm this close to beating somebody, and all of a sudden Ezio's like, oh, jumping off.
Oh, man, the ground looks nice.
But, like, it's so fun. Like, they added so much to that game that I never thought I'd enjoy playing.
I'm listening to you.
I never thought I'd enjoy, but, like, I just love it. Running through buildings and, like, you don't know if you're going to make the next jump, and all of a sudden your guy just, like, grabs and you start climbing, or you get the grappling hook and you're like Spider-Man.
The grappling hook is so fun.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
But that game...
Is it that good?
That game is worth the buy.
I know. I got to fish Grim Fandango first. I'm not going to be...
Anyone listening to this, buy Dying Light. It's totally worth it.
I'm not going to be that guy that just buys a bunch of games and never finishes them.
Hater.
Hater. Come on, hater.
Master Chief.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stick with Xbox. I'm just kidding, Trevor. Zack or I?
Well, I'll go ahead and start the game that surprised me in a good way, Dying Light, as well. Because I played... I played Dead Island, and I liked it, but it got repetitive, like, really quick. And it seemed like it was funner with more people.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have internet at the time whenever I played it, so I couldn't play with other people. Like, I couldn't play with... I think you had it.
Yeah, I had it. I had it downloaded.
And
the game came out in 2011. You didn't know what internet was?
I didn't have it. Like, I didn't have internet running out to my house at that point.
The internet wasn't actually created until 2000.
Shut up, Trevor. Go ahead, Zack.
Whenever Dying Light was announced and I saw the videos, like, I got hyped for it. I was like, oh, this looks good. Then I found out it's by the same people who did Dead Island. So I was like, oh, I don't know. It could pull another Dead Island and, it'd be fun.
And have, like, the most amazing game trailer of all time.
Yeah.
And
then you get into it and you're like, oh, man, this was fun at first, but not so much anymore. No, that blew that out of the water. I mean, if you're playing Dying Light for the story, you're going to be kind of disappointed. The story is good, but it's not great. But for straight gameplay-wise, it's fun. It's great. Like, I love playing with John and everything. We're probably going to play tonight.
Yep.
And we sit there running across rooftops, and which they got the skill trees. There's 3 skill trees. There's survival, power, and agility. And there's just a bunch of different things you can get in there, which eventually you'll get all of them and everything, because the last skills don't really get unlocked until you're level 25. That's probably like the max level.
And the thing is, with the skill tree, it's really neat because you'd think agility would just be, because everything you do, running, jumping,
hiking,
rolling around in your wheelchair, anything.
God, I wish I was a power in a video game.
But like anything you do motion-wise, your agility gets points.
Yeah.
And you think my power is actually higher than my agility because I just
same thing with me. That power is higher. My agility is the lowest skill.
Well, and the thing is, you get more. Like, I think you get 1 XP like every time. I don't know how it works. I never stare at my.
Don't you lose XP in that game if you die?
You lose survivor points. Yeah, your survivor experience.
Which it starts off kind of high, depending on how far you are. I think in Old Town, I died once and I lost like 3,200 XP. But I think it's based on how high your survival level is already. But if you start dying more, it drops down to like 200 or something. You're not losing as much anymore. But like you can go down the skill tree any way you want and everything, but you can still go back and get the other ones later. Like, oh, I don't want this power that helps make boosters. I'm not interested in that. We'll just go down some other trees. Yeah. Near the end when you got everything else, like, okay, I'll get the boosters now.
Yeah. I really need to play this.
And just to give you a thing, I rented the game. I beat the story, and whenever I took it back, I bought it 2 days later.
Really? Is it that good?
I enjoyed it that much. I mean, I'm having that much fun with it.
Zack, would you like to share with us on how you bought Dying Light?
Yeah, I want to know because I haven't heard this story, but the way Trevor's smirking like a fiend over here, I want to know.
How did you buy it?
I got it digitally.
Oh. Oh my!
I mean, I bought it digitally too, but I have a very bad experience with the digital, so I don't know the next time I'll buy it.
The only problem I've had with the digital is the install was like I had the game installed and everything, but it wasn't installed. Like I tried to play the campaign, it's like the content's not fully installed yet, and it had like 96% left, and that was 4 hours after I already.
Well, that's why you put it in rest mode, right, Trevor?
That's right.
Well,
I'm just gonna high five everybody today. Keep my hands
My
warm.
PS4 is in rest mode right now. Actually, I think
Eating up that power.
well, the thing is, like, whenever it says it's asked, which is neat. Do you want to install multiplayer first or single player?
Oh, yeah, that is
Last of Us
pretty
did that.
And so I installed single player, and I figured, okay, the multiplayer is probably going to take up a lot of the room because it said it was only going to be 6 gigs or something like that.
Yeah.
And it took 4 hours to download that because I have really slow internet. But after that, I was like, sweet, I'm going to play this because I had, I'm just going to start out fresh because I'd only played a little bit when Zack rented it. I played 30 minutes of the game, and it wasn't fully. It was like 60% download,
Dragon
and I
Age.
couldn't leave the tower.
Yeah, Dragon Age did that to me. I didn't actually know this. Real quick, in case you're interested, you may already know this for any of y'all, but whenever most games that I've bought digitally on my PS4, there's like a 6 to 10 gigabyte download file. Okay, well, like once that's downloaded, you can go to the settings, and that first part is like lets you play some of the game, or depending on how much of it is downloaded. But after that, like first part is done, you can go to your settings and then your application data, and click on the application. Like for me, it was Dragon Age, and it'll show how much of it is actually downloaded. Like whenever I got the first 10 gigs of Dragon Age done, I could play for about 30 minutes, first mission, and I looked at the application data, and it was like 10 gigs out of 48 downloaded. It actually shows the full download on the application data management in your settings,
Which,
in case you're ever interested.
Well, if you want to do this too, if you have the game and it's still downloading, you can click the options button and go down the properties, and it'll tell you how much until the next part of the game you can play.
Okay,
I found that out.
See, I guess I haven't had to experience that much because digitally I've just bought I bought Grim Fandango, and I think I downloaded that one night, like while I wasn't there, and then what was it? Resident Evil. I preloaded that. So preloadings, I love preloading, but the problem with preloading is you don't know if the game's gonna be good. I mean, they already want you to pre-order the Order 1886, and I'm probably gonna get that game, but there are rumors out there that game's only 4 to 5 hours long.
Yeah, I've heard
really.
There's rumors that it's really short.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna rent it first anyway, which I'm looking forward to it. But I rent everything first now because I don't know.
You're right. I mean, this harkens back. Everything's going to be coming back to this annualized franchise. So thank you, Kevin.
Kevin is running our show
It's
today.
full circle.
If you don't enjoy these franchises and you want it to stop, then you should not pre-order games. I mean, saying that, I've got that $250 collector's edition for Halo 5 pre-order right now. So
Go pre-order.
Yeah, but anyway, Zach, what was your biggest disappointment?
My biggest disappointment had to be Final Fantasy 13.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
That is
a good one. I didn't even think of that one.
That's a big group one right there. I would probably say. Of course, I mean I know you like Final Fantasy, but does it like eat you up that Final Fantasy 13 sucked? But
what tears me apart, because you guys remember how excited I was for that game. I went out and bought a brand new PS3 because I didn't want to wait for Sony to fix mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, because they sent you that crap version, the one that had the jets inside of it.
That's awesome.
Turn it up.
But why did it disappoint you, Zach? You start off with that.
Well, didn't it disappoint him?
Exactly. What didn't disappoint that game?
The battle system's amazing.
I love the battle, the paradigm shift.
The good thing about that game is the battle system. Yeah.
I didn't play past the first mission with Lightning because I watched Trevor play most of the game.
And then you like, oh, there's hope. This kid's gonna be a cool character.
And then he was a whiny bitch.
Hey, Snow, this guy's buff and cool. Troy Baker, all right.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna be a badass.
Nope.
And then
Hope got the coolest.
Alexander, he got the coolest summon. It just does not.
Almost a persona.
Persona.
Not to mention Bartandalus. We're in the talks because I'm at the very end of that game, and it drives me crazy when I don't finish games. I'm thinking about creating a video series of me finally beating Bartandalus, that final fight. But anyway, so what?
I loved the battle system. Paradigm Shift was nice and everything. Like, you just, oh man, I'm not doing well, going as commando. Better switch to heal real quick, heal myself.
I love that. I loved that.
It's so fluid. I mean, it's just so easy to do everything, and the battle was fluid, easy and whatnot. But it just wasn't open world anymore. It was just real linear.
Like that. It was
no towns.
Okay, before that, you liked Final Fantasy X though, right?
Yeah.
It was very linear too.
Oh yeah. It was linear.
But it had a good story.
But the story was good.
Exactly.
That was the big difference, really, between I couldn't get into Final Fantasy 13's story.
Yeah.
I couldn't either. I tried.
I couldn't bring myself to like the characters. Like, Saz was probably the only character I really enjoyed.
I loved that guy.
He was probably the only character I really liked, but everyone else I could care less about him. I just couldn't. How they were written and everything, it just didn't.
I think that's that problem with that whole Lost in Translation point, and especially when the characters probably I don't know, because like Square Enix seems to we could go on and on about Square Enix. They seem to love Lightning, and I don't know if like the Japanese audience does. They sold a lot of Final Fantasy 13 to their female Japanese audience, so I mean that's probably why they like her so much. But I mean I think she was a very one-dimensional character, and I've never played 13-2. I've heard 13-2 is better. But I mean, there's no.
I've never played it.
It's past the point where I'm just ready for 15.
I am too. 15 looks great.
Now, which my disappointment in 13 kind of leads into 15, because whenever I saw 15 when it got announced as well with Kingdom Hearts 3, I wasn't not that excited for it. I'm thinking, well, look what happened with 13. Let's just say this doesn't happen with 15.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm so hoping they learn from their mistakes.
I think they are, because 15, and they're going with this. Type 0 is going to be the first Final Fantasy rated M. So, I mean, it's a very mature game. And 15, I'm not going to say it's rated M, but it seems like it's going to have more just like 4 bros driving in a car,
and I don't
hanging
think,
out,
and like
fighting monsters.
Not that there was, like I said, I loved the 13 battle system, but 15 does it looks a lot different. Like
just keep those fingers crossed.
Yeah, the fighting style looks a lot different than 13 as well. So, like, in terms
Kingdom
of
Hearts. It looks like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, exactly. And so in terms of I just don't want them to make a 15-2. I just want 15 to be the only game.
If they do something like that where they make a sequel to 15, it should be on a handheld. I'm fine with that. But
I'd rather have a game I'd rather have a side story that complements 15. I don't want a sequel. I want maybe something that complements it, that's going on the side of, while these 4 bros are going to wherever they're going.
Yeah.
So
I understand. I think that game disappointed a lot of us.
Whenever I see 15, well, now I see the stuff about 15, it's looking better to me and everything. I'll definitely check it out when it comes out, though, but I don't know.
It seems like they're taking a lot of influence from Xenoblade Chronicles, or Saga. Xenoblade Chronicles? Is that?
You're asking the wrong person.
I know.
That's the one that's coming out of the 3DS, the new one.
Yeah, I'm going to. You and I, new 3DS, yeah.
Just looks like I have a hand at you.
I can't feel my hand. That's why I'm high-fiving everybody today.
But
it's really warm outside, just to let you know when I hit that heater.
It's okay.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13 was the game that disappointed me the most.
Okay, so Dying Light, biggest surprise. Final Fantasy 13, biggest disappointment. Dying Light, biggest surprise.
Yep.
Biggest disappointment.
WWE 2K15.
My biggest surprise, Assassin's Creed Unity. Biggest disappointment. If you guys are making me rethink mine, because I mean Master Chief Collection.
Oh, I'm rethinking my disappointment.
I mean, I guess if we're going farther back than just last year, then it would probably be. Something like Final Fantasy 13, because the Master Chief Collection's not terrible. It's just it was not.
I don't want to make it to where it's got to be farther back. It's got to be
no. It's whatever you want it to be, and.
Nothing's disappointed me besides that, really.
Your biggest surprise was The Last of Us, which is crazy talk.
Right.
And your
How was that a surprise?
biggest disappointment was Marvel
Ultimate Alliance.
Okay.
That game was just something.
Now we're on to a fun topic. And I think this is going to be our fastest topic, but I also think this is going to be a fun topic. My topic today is, if you were in charge creating any video game, you had unlimited sources, people had to do exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
You created your own video game. Like, who would you have create it Like, would it be exclusive? Would it be... How would your video game be? What would it be about? How would it play? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How would you create your ultimate video game?
Well, I can tell you my first decision, my first grand decision is it's going to be exclusive to the Vita.
Nice.
We're going to have an exclusive Vita title. Naughty Dog is going to be involved. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe a side story of The Last of Us.
The Ballad of Ishmael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why can I not write that game?
Why didn't that happen, though?
Like, would you not kill to have a Vita game about Ish?
So many things pointing to like, oh, there's probably gonna be some Ish DLC.
Well, not to mention that Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley were like, we had, The Last of Us DLC is in the pipeline soon-ish, and I was just like,
Here it is.
But yeah, no, absolutely. That is, and even. Not even just like The Last of Us or Naughty Dog, but yeah, my first executive decision was this game is going to be exclusive to the Vita, and it's going to be the best Vita game ever made. I don't know what it would be. Would you
bundle it with the Vita?
Yes.
Okay.
It would.
Sell some Vitas while you're at it.
Possibly some. Do what?
What type of game would it be? A side story to The Last of Us? Is that what you're saying?
I think that would be one of my first choices because that would sell a lot of Vitas. I think. If it was made by Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, of course I love RPGs as well, and I would love, excuse me, like I said earlier.
What about a Last of Us RPG where you play as a group of fireflies?
I was just about to say RPG as well. I would love an RPG, any kind of RPG is, but I was also thinking, like, I honestly would love an idea of like a Final Fantasy 15 side story. So
it's coming from the guy that's like, I hope there are no Final Fantasy 15
Well, I don't want a sequel, but like something that complements it would be cool, I guess.
As long as it ain't a sequel.
I mean,
that's contradictory. That's our word of the day. It's contradiction.
It's not because like I think we're all in agreement here because I mean we all prefer Sony. I mean that's our console of choice. The Vita is perfect for side stories. I mean, why was there never an Infamous, a God of War?
Yeah.
A Naughty Dog game. I mean, they've just you can look back on our old podcast to find out our opinions on the PlayStation Vita. So.
Yep. So in terms of original content, like if I could think of an original game, I don't know because that's just
it's whatever game you want. It doesn't have to be original.
Well, then definitely some kind of RPG-ish. I don't know,
RPG-ish.
Yeah. Last of Us side story. It's just some kind of side story to a bigger name game that would help sell the Vita. In terms of original content, I don't know off the top of my head, but I love RPGs, so I'm sure it would be an RPG. So
that's good. I mean,
which, like you said, which there was 2 games in the God of War series that were kind of set on the PSP. Sparta.
And didn't they kicked butt on that PSP hardware too. They supposedly look good.
They were nice. I was surprised how well they played on them. The game I would like to make, that's why I mentioned it, kind of goes into it. I would like to make PS4 and a God of War game, another one. The PS4 has Santa Monica involved in it, but not focus on Kratos, but on his brother.
Oh.
They allude to his brother a little in the whole series. Like you actually meet him at one point in I think Ghost of Sparta. I want to say.
I think so.
You meet him at one point and you work with him, but you don't really know what happened to him. They got separated at birth because the whole Spartan thing. Like he was the oldest, so he got sent off to do something else, and his brother was sent onto like a mountain or something like that.
Yeah.
But it never really tells his full story, what actually happened to him. So I would like a God of War game, but that focuses on his brother. Like, what was he doing this whole time when Kratos is out being a Billy badass, killing these guys?
Yeah.
How did Kratos
just chilling on a mountain in like a cabin?
Yeah. How did Kratos' brother get affected during all this? Like, what was he doing this time?
Well, and the thing is about that honestly seems kind of likely because, I mean, I'm not a big God of War guy, but didn't they kill off Kratos? Or in God of War 3?
Kind of like it.
Like killed him off video game wise, where he could come back easily.
Like he stabbed himself in the chest with the Sword of Olympus.
Okay.
And
wow, you're sadistic.
Dead.
So
how can he not be dead?
But
it's a video game.
Yeah.
At the very end, after the credits and everything, it goes back and it shows instead where his body was is that there was a trail of blood leading into the ocean. Like he went off the cliff, which could easily say, you know, he wanted to kill him, make sure he was dead rather than dying from the cliff.
Yeah.
Which, looking back, that could be a throwback to the first God of War when he tried to kill himself. He jumped off a cliff over like these jagged rocks, but he was saved because, you know, it's not your time yet, Kratos. You have things to do.
Yeah.
So that could be an allude to that as well. I don't know. They don't really.
I bet E3 this year they'll announce new God of War. I mean, they've already said they're making it.
Yeah,
it's just Santa Monica's become almost like they're where they just publish games now. Yeah. But you know they're making it.
Yeah. But I would like a God of War game, but focused on Kratos' brother. What happened to him?
That'd be cool.
And what's his story?
Yeah. What's this guy doing?
Just chilling. Mine would be really torn developer-wise. Like, I kind of want Bethesda.
Yeah.
You have to do
and I kind of want Naughty Dog.
A side Elder Scrolls game would be awesome.
Vita.
Yeah.
Well, but I kind of want to make it PS4, PlayStation exclusive.
See, he hates Xbox, man.
I don't hate Xbox. I just don't play Xbox.
He's going to soon.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yeah, very soon.
IDARB.
But it'd probably be if I chose Bethesda, it'd be probably a Fallout type game because I love Fallout. I love all Fallout.
Would you do kind of a thing like Obsidian did with New Vegas? Or
no.
No. That was quick. Just
good.
I would want it to be done in the South, like a southern Fallout, because
they did with the one DLC.
Point Lookout.
Yeah, Point Lookout was my
about
favorite.
Like swampy, you want like that far
maybe
south,
like Louisiana.
I'm thinking like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama,
that'd
something
cool.
like with a lot of history
Absolutely.
in it, and that would be my Bethesda. That would be them, and I'd have like something worked out where maybe they could do something on the Vita, and still bring like a full game to the PS4 and bring like a side game to the Vita.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I chose Naughty Dog, it would be like your Cold War espionage game, because that's awesome. I want that so bad. Like ever since we talked about it, that's just like that's the one thing I really want from Naughty Dog.
I wish they would let me write for them.
Incredible. I was like, you need to let me write for you. I've got ideas. I'm gonna make you some money.
Yeah, because they need so much money right now.
Yeah.
I know you're hurting on money right now, so I want to help.
But that's my choice, and I would want something done with the Vita, because give me a reason to play my Vita some more other than
absolutely.
JRPGs.
I understand. I mean, that's the thing that hurts it. But this isn't a...
What's wrong with JRPGs?
But that's all you can play on the
That's
Vita.
the big thing.
And Danganronpa.
Yeah.
You still got
I still got your two. I'm in the middle of it.
So is it my turn?
It's your turn.
No, next topic.
It
could be.
No, I'm just kidding.
These guys already know what I'm going to say.
I think I do.
All right.
Enlighten us.
My favorite developer of all time is...
Naughty Dog.
My favorite video game of all time is...
The Last of Us.
I pointed at Trevor.
Trevor's just looking, so Trevor's just looking.
Thank you, John, for stepping up. Place Trevor. All right. I love The Last of Us because I am obsessed with good writing. I am not obsessed with Ellie. She's underage. Don't let him fool you.
Oh.
Joel is a pretty cool guy. But I love good writing when it comes to books, movies, video games, TV shows, all of that. And Naughty Dog does it the best. There has never been a video game written as well as The Last of Us.
I agree.
I mean, gameplay-wise, sure, they didn't invent the wheel, but man, was it good.
It was very good.
I made a list of like top Naughty Dog games I would love for them to make. Go to our website, check it out. It's on there, and it's a good article.
It is.
I think.
It's very good.
I'm going to link to it in the description.
But like you said, that Cold War game has been one I've been thinking about for a while. I imagine it's set in like 1980s, like when the Soviets had invaded Afghanistan, and you're like an American spy there, and you got like missions, and I can just picture you building equipment and stuff like Joel, craft stuff.
Yeah.
You can sneak around, and it's almost James Bond-esque, and
that'd be cool.
And like gritty, like The Last of Us, because I feel like Naughty Dog's taking that more gritty approach instead of the more cartoony, fun approach. Because I mean, even Uncharted 4 looks more gritty than the other.
Yeah.
But that being said, if I had the choice, I would go to Naughty Dog, and they were like, "You write us any game you want." I would write a 1970s like what's the word? Like presidential conspiracy, political thriller
That'd be cool.
type game.
Like a political assassin.
Like my whole point would be about some guy who worked for a newspaper. He's kind of a newer reporter, but he's a good reporter. Uncovers some secret about some. I mean,
that hot scoop.
Yeah, he gets that hot scoop, and he finds something out, and then like he basically gets so scared he becomes a recluse, and over time it's about him trying to uncover this thing. You like see this guy, and he's just like he can make a good protagonist because he's kind of morally gray, where he's got to, you know.
It's almost like National Treasure, how it goes.
No, because it wouldn't be that. It'd be gritty and not a very happy game.
But in the same way, going into the history of all these conspiracies, but not like
absolutely.
That
I would totally.
Well, haven't you said something like this before?
So is this like an?
I'll change my answer.
Like Washington D.C. and like it shows him getting the scoop, and it like the opening of the game would be like him like figuring everything out, and like all these things around him just unraveling, and then like it shoots to him like 5 years later, and he's just like this obsessed guy who's like living by himself, and you just see his like room, and he's like covered up, and he's just trying to break this conspiracy, and then someone comes along, because it's a Naughty Dog game, so you got to have good like partnership and good dialogue with each other, and then the game would be about these two people and their accomplices trying to break it, and I would end the game. It would not have a happy ending, but it would have a happy ending. Like I would expose the truth, but at the same time, like the guy would do some bad things to expose the truth.
Maybe his partner would be like some high school kid that read about his like story or something like that. Like
with Naughty Dog, like it's all about the writing, and it's all about the banter between the two. In Uncharted 2, some of the best dialogue in that whole game is when I can't think of his name, when you're drinking after you get hurt and you wake up in the village with that guy who can't speak English. And you're both going through the caves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they like can't understand each other at all, but it's so good. I mean, that's just like that banter. Is just
that's
so
gonna kill me. I can't think of it. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And I just feel like we don't get political thriller conspiracy games, and I love stuff like All the President's Men and House of Cards. I love that stuff, just the behind the scenes stuff, and just that newspaper versus politicians type thing, that 1970s look.
Yeah. I love that, like that feel, like, and that's why one thing I love, like the 1950s feel of like Fallout. I love stuff like that. I love that look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I was gonna ask you a question about yours is like, is this a alternate history where you use like real presidential figures?
It would be like alternate history, where it would be like it would be a different president, because in the 70s it was Gerald Ford after Nixon. So
would it involve like real names?
No,
like that,
it'd be honestly kind of like Watergate, but that's more higher up and more deadly. Like you'd find out the president like ordered some like he ordered some village somewhere to be gassed, and you didn't want this information to be leaked.
Kind of like Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam. Damn. Oh man.
So like, what else kind of
country coming out?
So like, is this kind of like? Honestly, I really like this idea. That's why I'm asking questions.
That's fine.
So is this kind of like?
Fine.
I think would be really cool.
Christopher Walken in there?
That's terrible, Christopher Walken.
Where he like this reporter, like you said, was it a reporter?
Yeah, it was a
reporter.
A young reporter
finds it, like stumbles upon some information that he is not supposed to see.
Well, he's like a low-level journalist.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like he's been wanting this big breaking article, and his head editor or somebody sends him out to do like interview a politician or something. He uncovers some dirt because
the guy says something, and he's just like, okay, so what's this? Well, I was kind of thinking like it would be cool, like if he uncovered like something that he is not supposed to see, and the government knows that he has found this out. So like now he's involved, and he can't tell anybody. But like anyway, he ends up getting way in over his head. Like
basically, he becomes obsessed with it.
But now that he knows, he has to be involved. He can't just ignore it.
He would be a morally great character like Joel.
Yeah,
like Joel, like
I feel like there's a lot of room for a great character development.
Yes, absolutely.
Here. Like this guy starts off as a low-level reporter,
like Walter White syndrome.
Yeah, and by the end of the story, he's like, just
it would
Walter
not
White.
it would not. The game would have a self-contained story. There would not be sequels to it.
Right.
It would, and I'm just the main character would not have a happy ending, but he would have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like I've got all these ideas for that too. Like, what if he's like in Washington? Like he's like you said, low level. His boss is like, okay, the president's having a speech today. Go, and you go to the West Wing where they have the speeches, and like he stumbles upon this room that's just like slightly open. Reporters are kind of nosy, so he goes in and he finds like plans laid out on a table for like.
Yeah. See, I was thinking. Because that would honestly seem too cliche. I mean, that's good. I would like stuff like that. It honestly seem too cliche. Like, I would have him, like, he's just interviewing some random politician, someone not, like, higher up, and he goes to interview this politician. He doesn't like the way the interview's going because he's realizing he's not getting the scoop he needs, and then he digs around, and then he finds some stuff out, and then he's going and trying to tell his editor and stuff about what's going on. This editor betrays him. The cops are basically after him. He finally the opening would be him getting out of DC and stuff. I mean, this guy that doesn't know what he's doing, in over his head, he escapes. It's like living in the wilderness out somewhere west.
In Virginia.
No, I wouldn't say Virginia. Somewhere Kentucky. He could be living in the hills of Kentucky. You know how crazy those people are. Those people are, and somebody stumbles upon him, some young journalist who, like, why didn't you ever finish this case? And he's just like this recluse, but he's like fit and just, I don't know. He's Joel, but I mean not like Joel. I mean Joel is a very person who will do anything to get what needs to happen.
I love games. I love stories like that because I love like that kind of stuff, like uncovering secrets. And stuff like that. That sounds so interesting to me.
It's so good. I don't know. I dream about, like, I think about things like how awesome would a 1930s gangster game from Rockstar North be?
Yes.
I mean, they did heists so well in GTA 5. How awesome would it be just old school heists, just trotting around like Tommy guns and hats?
Yes.
I mean, I guess there was Mafia and things like that. But I don't know. There's just a lot of different things. The Ballad of Ishmael would be... if they make a Last of Us 2, it should totally focus on Ish. Anyway, that was my topic. Sorry if that took too long.
No, that was good.
That was interesting.
But
I'd play the hell out of it.
I would too. That'd be awesome.
Make it Naughty Dog and then credit me. I don't want any money. Just put my name in there. Special thanks to Justin Bright. You don't even have to get my last name right. You probably call me like Justin Bryan or something. You don't even
Justin Bryan.
Yeah, Justin Bryan. You know.
I don't care. I just want some notice.
Yeah.
But all right. Now this next one is a thinker, and this is courtesy of Mr. Trevor Baldwin. He made me really think about this one, and I know it's going to seem like to these guys that I didn't, but I did. And Trevor, I want you to tell us what your topic is today.
Okay, so my topic is your favorite or most meaningful game quote of all time. A quote from a game that has stuck with you, and you may have even applied it to your life in some way. And do y'all want me to go first, or does somebody else want to go first? Okay, go ahead.
Because
I'll go first.
Oh, and I forgot to mention...
I'm going to go first.
Oh, okay.
Another thing to mention is, because I don't want you to just say your quote, then we'll move on to the next person.
No.
Each person, we're going to, around this table, we are going to take that quote apart.
Okay.
And see, like, what does it mean? How have you applied it to your life?
Okay, well, mine is like... You obviously know... You guys, I sent you a link on what mine is.
Yeah.
And the reason I apply it to my life is because it is my favorite video game of all time. The feels that game gives me. I hate just saying that word.
The feels.
The feels. The internet community has really ruined the English language. But there is somebody here who does a pretty good Joel impression. And I really want him to read it. Now, I'm going to be the narrator right now. Joel has just saved Ellie. They just had this big fight in Farmhouse where he basically just told Ellie that, "You're not my daughter. You better tread lightly." And
Hank.
Yeah, well, basically, he loves her, but he doesn't know how to express himself. And then they're riding up on the horse back to Tommy's village.
He's been thinking about what he said.
That amazing musical score, The Choice.
Yep.
is playing, and then Joel says this.
Ellie, get off your horse. Give it back to Tommy.
All right. Now you say the next part.
I'm going to hang on to this fella, if that's all right with you.
And that is the moment in that game where Ellie becomes Joel's surrogate daughter.
Yep.
Joel becomes her surrogate father.
And that's like, that was a really heartfelt moment, too, because
and that is when you know. I mean, there are lots of moments in that game where you know you're playing a special game. And that's when you know I am hooked on 2 video game characters that I have fallen in love with.
Yep. And
that is the moment in my life where I realized I want to be able to write something that good.
Yeah.
And I was like, this game is special. And I know that's not like a quote, like a quotable quote. It's probably not even the best quote in the game. Well, but that is a quote that means the most to me.
That's the question: is what is the most meaningful quote?
And it is at a point
something that is stuck
because
to you.
I just that it's that point in the game where you're just like, holy crap, what am I? Am I playing a movie or a game?
Yeah, exactly.
And it just. It plays those heartstrings, and I don't know.
And like you said, he goes from like he's just trying to get the job done, at first, and then he's like, "You're not my daughter. I don't care about you. I care about the job." And then you get to that part, and it's like, "Well, I do care about you. You're basically my daughter now." And like the rest of the time, like you feel like the love between both of them.
Yeah, and like to me, between those 2 parts, when he says that to being back there on that cliff with those 2 horses and Tommy and Ellie and all them, but it was just a cutaway, right? Like it just black loading screen back there, right? Or was there? Okay, so like that just puts a little. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it shows them riding on the horse.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean they go
so
back.
So like that puts more depth into the game because like right there you're like, well, between this 5-second cutscene, what Joel is probably thinking about what he said, and it I don't know, it added a certain depth to me. But
Mr. Quiet over there, what is your opinion on the matter?
Yeah,
it's whenever that happened and everything, that kind of just tells you like how you can convey feelings just through mere words.
Yes,
I think just how powerful words are.
Sorry.
Neil Druckmann, you're the man.
And I was sitting there, which there was a lot of tension and emotions happening like prior to that and everything. Like it's like, I'm not your daughter. You're right. You're not my daughter. And just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't do Joel. I'm not good at it.
No, he can. But you do.
You're right.
What would Macho Man have to say about it?
I don't have feelings.
You need to snap into a Slim Jim.
Please,
Ellie, you need to snap into a Slim Jim. I'm gonna do a 360 and then get out of here. And it's just one of those things, like, which everyone who's playing the game is already attached to Ellie, and like they build that surrogate, like, parent relationship with her, even though Joel doesn't at that point.
He does. He just doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to show it. Like it's like a weakness.
He's an alpha male. He's a man.
Yeah, I can't show weakness.
Manly man.
It's like I don't care about you, but secretly I do. And whenever
I love you so much, Zack.
I hate you, I don't.
I don't care if you die, but I would. And
Contradiction. Word of the day, guys.
It's like the theme
Word
of
of
our
the day.
show.
I'm telling you.
And whenever he says that, it's like he's fully opening up to her in a way, saying, so like, this is me. I accept you and everything. It's like, I'm going to take you under my wing. Like, you're going to be safe with me.
Do you think that Ellie understood that symbolism?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing is, Ellie thought Ellie thought ahead of time that it was a father-daughter thing because that's why she was so disappointed when she found out he was just dropping her off at Tommy's, and that's why she ran away. I mean, she fell in love with Joel like probably when they were in Pittsburgh. I mean, like around Bill. I mean, Ellie doesn't like to be alone, and
not at all.
Joel likes to be alone, and Joel's a very brutal character.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they're just.
Justin, you are Joel.
I'm Joel?
Yes.
I'm brutal?
No. I think you could be.
Man.
So I think you might have a little brutal in you. Yeah.
Why am I Joel?
You always tell me about angry Justin.
Oh. I couldn't murder somebody.
Well, I understand that.
Introvert. I mean, I'm a very introverted person. But, I mean, I'm like this. I enjoy doing this.
You have your Joel shirt on today.
Do I?
I mean, it's not green.
Yeah.
And it's not dirty.
It might be.
You've cleaned your clothes.
Thank you.
Thankfully.
This got really off topic.
Sorry.
Really bad.
That was my fault.
But anyway, Zach. Yes, I agree with you. That's the moment when everything came together.
Yeah.
What's your quote? Because I've been itching to hear it.
Which I've played some of the Mass Effect series. I haven't played a lot of it and everything. And
There's Trevor.
and there's a character in the Mass Effect series called Javik. I think that's how you say his name. He is the last of his species that you find. And you originally take him as a prisoner and everything. There's a whole bunch of dialogue and whatnot. And later on, him and Commander Shepard are talking, and they're talking about the Reapers, because he pre-warned the humans about the Reapers coming, but since their technology is so far ahead, none of the humans can understand what they're talking about. They didn't have the technology to understand it, but they caught a bit of it, so they were able to prevent some of the, prevent their extinction in a way. And Javik says at one point and everything is that you're trying to, you're trying to fight this enemy while still holding your honor intact. And Commander Shepard's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And he says this quote that is just really powerful if you think about it. He says, stand among the ashes of a trillion dead souls and ask the ghosts if honor means anything to them.
You're right.
And he says, silence is your answer.
Yeah.
You just think about that.
One.
Like, thinking about that is, it's just like, man, that's basically what war is. Like, there's no honor in war.
Yeah, there is not. Because you're fighting, you have, there is no good or bad in war. It's, the only I shouldn't say that because there is good and bad in war. But a lot of, times people fight for reasons they don't understand. Some people fight because they have to, because if they don't, their country, a lot of the Germans weren't Nazis, but they had to fight. They had to. That's why I get so aggravated when people just assume all Germans were Nazis. But that's a different story.
The SS were
is
Nazis.
war justifiable?
Yeah.
Is there a good reason?
Sometimes there is.
Yeah. If you're out there killing innocents, then yes, there's a reason for war.
But I agree with you. Is there honor in war? I think he's also trying to say that you gotta do whatever you can do to win. If you gotta play dirty, you play dirty.
In which that's Javik is represented as basically like a character of vengeance. The reason he is how he is, he's basically, I'm one of the last of my race. I'm gonna
Prometheans.
Yeah. I didn't know how to pronounce it. I was like, I'm trying to avoid pronouncing this. And he basically says at one point and everything that, because he was talking about avatars and everything, people that are special for
James Cameron,
thing.
2009.
And he was talking about he's basically an avatar of vengeance, revenge, and everything like that. That's what he was meant to do at that point. Basically, it's like, I'm gonna kill all these Reapers. And I don't care how I do it.
He was. It goes back to really good writing. Mass Effect series has great writing.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ghost in this house or something right now. You keep hearing it?
Yeah, it's bothering me so bad. I'm waiting for a raccoon to walk in or something.
What does honor mean to you?
Yeah, there is something going on.
But yeah, to me, your quote, that's exactly what it means. You do what you got to do to survive, to save the human race. You're gonna have to do some dirty things.
Yep.
And if you're playing through that game as a renegade, you do a lot of dirty things.
Yep.
It's like, you don't even have to say that to me, Jeff. I've already done dirty.
That's my point in it.
I've already done dirty.
But what do these guys?
If I can go next, well, wait, what do I think about his quote? Yeah, you're gonna do some dirty stuff.
Yeah.
You can't be honorable when you're trying to save yourself and others.
Yeah.
Kind of with The Last of Us. I'm not going to ruin the end of the game. But
Joel's very selfish.
He is very selfish, but he did it for a reason.
Yep.
John, what is your quote?
Because it leads in... My quote leads into Zach's, kind of. My runner-up quote, which I'm going to say first, is because...
an honorable mention.
Yeah, my honorable mention quote is from Crisis Core, because it's one of probably the most emotional video game moments I've ever had. At the very end where Zack looks up at Cloud, and he's like, Cloud, did I become a hero?
Why do you talk to Cloud, Zach?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I know we're running low on time. I just had to get one sarcastic comment in there.
But that moment made, it brought tears. Because I was so emotionally invested in that game. And that was, my honorable mention, because these two quotes were, ones that stood out the most.
I understand.
And I just put so much into that game. But anyway, my quote my quote is from Fallout 3, War never changes.
And then I could be Metal Gear Solid 4, and then I could be Solid Snake and be like, war has changed.
Contradiction.
I know.
Contradiction.
That is like the theme of our show today. I think it's because I just forgot the word, and you guys are just being really nice and helping me remember it.
I love it.
Justin's contradiction.
But when you say war never changes, I mean...
that game has so many memorable quotes like Revelation 21:6.
Right.
I'm the Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's like, I love that game.
You don't, like... I mean, you knew you were playing a special game, but now you look back on it, you're like, man, that game was great. But
that quote, war never changes, I mean, it goes along with...
I guess we've kind of already described it when we've taken it apart. But yeah, I mean, that's very true, and that does work with Zack's quote. It actually essentially kind of takes apart Zack's quote, war never changes, and that's what this guy is saying. I mean, it's not what he's saying, but what was his name? I'm sorry. Javik. Yeah, I love the Mass Effect games, but I've never really... I need to play them. I got really far in 2. But
yeah, war never changes.
But yeah,
and it's always over some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
We always, I mean, as humans, we all fight over each other's beliefs and each other's resources, and that's what it's always going to be about.
always.
Yep.
So, your quote.
My quote is, I try to apply this into a lot of my daily life
Good quote, by the way.
because, this is, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's kind of corny, but it's at the same time, it's something that if a lot of people would do, if more people would do, I think this world would be a lot better place. And it's from a game that means it's probably one of the most sentimental games to me, and it's Final Fantasy IX. And the main character is Zidane. Is it Tribal or Tribal? I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know it.
But anyway, he says, you don't need a reason to help people. And that quote, I try to apply that.
It's good. And he does. He's
exactly.
a good human being.
I thought he was talking about Zidane.
No, I'm talking
thank
about you,
Justin.
Trevor.
I mean, really, if you apply that into your life, and it makes you a lot happier person.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because you shouldn't need a reason to help people. You should never. You're helping people out or just doing something for somebody. You should never say to yourself, "Well, I want to get something out of this." I mean, sometimes you do, but that should never be the reason you go into it. Like I said, there should not be a reason, just like he said. And I try to apply that, and sometimes I don't. But you've got if a lot more people would apply that to their lives, I think this world would be a lot better place. Because that quote has always stuck with me. That was the first PS1 game I ever owned. Granny, love you.
Shout out to Granny.
Got it.
Oh, Granny.
And
Grannies.
that is, I don't know, that quote is just always stuck out to me.
It's a very good quote.
Yeah, because
I completely agree with you. I mean, it's just everyone needs a little help, and it's like you said, everyone should help out if they have the chance to. Even, you meet some of those people in your life, you're just like, oh, I don't want to help them, but then you wind up doing it anyway. Because like this guy and this guy and this guy are great people, so they help everybody. So I mean,
it's like. I don't know. That quote is just
it's a good quote.
That's an awesome quote to end with too.
That means something to me. Like sometimes and sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. I mean, really, like your friends that are in your life.
Even just talking to them.
Yeah, that it can. I don't know. It helps out a lot. If people come into
getting too deep for me, man.
People come into your life, and you don't even realize what they have done for you. Like this is gonna get a little sentimental, a little corny, I know, but Justin, whenever I met you at work, you have made me realize a lot of things about my life because it's almost scary how much I think from what I've heard, how much we are alike.
We are.
And So you've helped me realize a lot of things, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but like maybe the mistakes that you made.
I've made a lot.
Everybody
of
has, but you've helped. Since we are so alike, you have shared with me, a lot of the mistakes you've made, and like it's put a lot of my life into perspective, and like maybe how I can avoid some of that stuff, and like that is how you have helped me.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
All of you have come into my lives at different points. Zach, you were there. I met you in 5th grade, and you were just a friend to me. I mean, we became friends by one of us farted in class.
That was how our friendship.
Everyone else was like gross.
We laughed, and like that was how our friendship started. And like
it's like we're gonna be pretty good friends.
That's all you did.
This is gonna be a beautiful friendship.
That is all that's how you did that with me. And without probably ever even realizing it, like you didn't
it's
have
funny
a
how
reason.
fate works, isn't it?
Yeah, it is funny. And John,
shut up and don't even say it.
I love this story.
I met you on the bus when you made fun of me.
Which may or may not have happened. It hasn't been.
I was going to Zach's house that day, and I had all my PS2 memory cards with me, and I had like 5 for some reason.
Nice.
I remember you were bringing them too.
Yeah, and but like everyone has a purpose in your life, and that's how people that and sometimes you don't realize you're doing it, but you may have helped somebody without knowing, and that is how you could say you have helped somebody without reason. You may not even realize it. I mean, you may have said hi. You may have smiled at somebody and said hi to them on the street, and like they're having the worst day ever, and that just completely turned around their day. But I'm sorry, I've taken over. What else do you guys think?
No, I completely. Trevor, that was good, and I was going to say the same thing. I mean, you shouldn't say you've helped me more than you gave me this platform. I would have eventually met John, but I wouldn't have been as close to John without you, because you were that buffer that helped me become close to you. And then Zach visiting you guys down at work. I mean, we've all got that commonplace that's aimed us at this goal that I personally, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, I would love to do this for a living.
Well, yeah,
I could too. I mean,
instead of sitting in a
and
factory.
even like, I love doing video work. I was telling Zach last night over text, I could do this every day. I mean, I get stressed out. I look stressed out because it's a stressful thing to do. I don't have everything that I want. I don't want to be sitting here with this laptop. I want to be sitting here with a mixer like Nick does on Kind of Funny.
Nick Scarpino.
And I want 4 mics sitting in front of everybody right now, but
you do such an awesome job, so there is no reason that you should be sitting there not thinking you do.
Right.
This is amazing. I mean, I just feel like things happen for a reason. I mean, John's grandfather has this random house that is perfectly set up for a podcast. This is like the only room that is worth it. The rest of the, I wish you guys could see one day see what the rest of the house
maybe
looks
today
like.
I could convince Trevor we could do like an MTV Cribs type deal. But
what a magic happens.
Everything does happen for a reason. I
agree.
I think that's if Lucas hadn't come up to me that night and said you're learning how to pack, I would have never. I may have met you. We may have, like mild conversation, but it wouldn't be like it is now. Like,
and I may not be doing that job without you, because you said to our, I believe it was you that said to our old supervisor to keep me over there.
Well, I mean,
I think that's what
it was, because I was like, this guy knows nerdy topics, and I like that.
And it may have been for a selfish reason at the time.
Which, honestly, Zach and I have been friends. Like, me and Zach have been friends longer than I was friends with you, because we didn't really become friends until high school. Because
we knew each other
because of things.
but
John and I's friendship is a funny story how that began too. How that truly blossomed. Which, before we get into that, like, whenever I first met you, Trevor, and everything, the way you've helped me, you were the first friend I've had since, because I moved away from everyone. Like, I used to go to a different school and everything. When I moved, basically, I never had any contact with any of them again. Like, there was one other friend that I had that was a good friend of mine, and I don't even remember his name.
Oh God,
how bad that is! Like, you know, we just never kept in touch and everything. Like, I go to his house occasionally back then, and we just.
I thought he went now, and like he still doesn't know his name.
I'm still know his name.
Hey man,
it's a funny thing how our friendship began with him was. It was so stupid and immature, but the W, we would always put little dots on the end and make them boobs.
Oh my god.
That was how our friendship began. And then whenever I moved, like, you know, I was sad because I would never see him again. I think he ended up moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
Last I heard, so I don't know where he's at now. And then whenever I met you.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
Unnamed friend.
And whenever I met you, you're the first friend I made whenever I moved to Farmington.
Yeah.
Because I knew nobody else. I think you and Darren are probably the first two people I really talked to.
Darren. Oh
I don't know any of these people.
But John and I's friendship began in
over middle school girlfriend.
It was an odd thing that happened.
Those girls.
I had
always causing trouble.
some middle school girlfriend, and our in-between friend, Martin,
he was the mutual friend.
He was the mutual friend that kind of sparked all this. He told middle school things where he's like, he's going to break up with you, so you better do it first.
God.
So she broke up with me, and I was like, well, okay then. Very next day, she's dating Zack, and I'm like...
Nice.
Which I knew Zack, like you were in band for a little bit, weren't you?
Mutual friend.
So like I was in band and like we were in band together, so I knew Zack.
Acquaintances.
Yeah. And so I found out she was dating Zack. I was like, for real? And
wow.
I was like,
poor
all right.
Zack.
But it's because Martin told her that he liked her and all this. Well, Zack wasn't really like digging the whole
blind date thing. I'm not a huge fan of that.
No, you should always get to know a girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like
how it began, he asked me and everything, you know, if would you go out with her, like if you had a chance, and I was like, you know, I probably would and everything, but I didn't think anything about it. I was thinking, you know, she's dating John. I mean, I was like, I'm not worried about that. Which I wasn't even worried about girlfriends.
Middle school.
Yeah,
middle school, dude.
I didn't give a damn about girlfriends back then.
But yeah, they broke up like a week later.
Which is a funny story behind that, too.
Yeah. But after that, me and Zack were like, I remember one day we started talking. We were like, man, screw her, except we said it in other words.
We're in middle school.
Yeah, we're in middle school. We don't need no girls.
We don't need her!
But that's how we became friends. And like after that, we'd always just joke around. And Zack quit band, and I'd see him in the hall. And like after school, we'd hang out on the bus loop. And I eventually started going to his house, and we'd play video games. Like after his mom left at 5 a.m., we'd get up and play video games.
She'd wake us up when she'd leave. That's when she worked at Hills.
Well, she'd wake me up by accident, and she'd like, Zack, get your ass up.
Wake me up in the process.
But yeah, I mean that.
I got us off into a really big tangent.
No, that's good. We got off on a thing about friendship.
Well, that all works together with
your
quote
quotes.
Because sometimes you don't realize that you're helping somebody.
Yeah.
And even like without going too deep into it, I mean, you shouldn't need a reason to help people. It just straightforward. You see an old lady struggling to lift her groceries into her vehicle. Stop and help her.
Yeah.
You know that's the straightforward. You know, without going too deep into it, that's straightforward. Yeah. And there are two sides of that. You know, sometimes you don't realize you're doing it.
Absolutely, and you're completely right, Trevor. I mean, just everyone should always help everybody.
And that quote has stuck with me, and sometimes I don't. I try to put it into my everyday life. Sometimes I don't, but you know,
and
you should.
You know, everybody should help each other. I mean, you guys have helped me.
One love, everybody.
I can start singing some YouTube, but I don't.
This is amazing.
We love you guys, and we want to help you guys, and we want you to help us, and we appreciate you watching our podcast. I thought this was a great podcast.
Yeah, I really hope this is like somebody's escape from the world.
I do too. I mean, like that's what I want to say. The kind of funny guys have helped me out. This is like they help me out when I am down on myself, and they're people I work with. If they ever watch this, they know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, they've helped me a lot, and we want to help you guys out, and we want you to give us comments and like us and all that fun stuff. Subscribe
Every
to
little
us.
bit helps. Even
absolutely
a tweet, a retweet, A thumbs up on the YouTube video, a comment. It doesn't matter.
We just want you to love us.
Whenever, I mean, you know, right now we are still a small time, but every time I get on YouTube and I see a notification that somebody left a comment, whether it's good or bad, I don't know yet because the comment's still open, but I'm just like, somebody left a comment.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me so happy.
Like we get on our videos and see, like, hell, we have over 50 views on on 2 or 3 of our videos, and that makes me excited.
Hey, Greg Miller. Accept his wing challenge. And that's how we're going to end this podcast today.
Greg.
Thank you for joining us. We are Sadistic Pixel, and we do air high fives.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
I use 2 hands and I don't know why.